All right, well, peace. Just want to come back with another video. This one follow up with I was reading letter of Jeremiah earlier, and then just bear credence to as a brother on Chronicles of Judah Patreon. He asked about the beards and whatnot. I just wanted to add another part into this because I was reading letter of Jeremiah, and I think I mentioned in the last video I did about Leviticus chapter 19:27 about beards. Is that the Most High wanted us to look like men, and because the other nations they were shaving, they looked a certain way. They like had were shaving and yeah, and just we Most High wanted to be set apart from them. Basically, look at how we conduct ourselves, how we look and whatnot. So that what holy means, set apart. But I just want to get a quick scripture on that, and let's get it. Letter of Jeremiah in the Apocrypha. The Apocrypha. No, it's a little inside joke with me and the brother. Yes, it's a little inside joke. All right, let's get it. All right, where is it? Navigating this Bible, man. This one that I use. This is good. I get, recommend y'all get it, but it's kind of, I always struggle navigating with this one. But yeah, let's get a letter of Jeremiah. All right, let's book a letter of Jeremiah in verse 1. I mean, chapter 1. Well, it's only one chapter. I don't know why I said verse 1. But, where is it? Okay. Chapter 1, verse, where is that verse at? Man, this text so small. All right, it's the letter of Jeremiah, chapter 1, verse, where is it at? Okay, I think it's, oh yeah, here we go. All right, this is the letter of Jeremiah 1. Well, it was only one chapter in the letter of Jeremiah, but in verse 31, and their priests, this is going, as you read on, this is going to their very beautiful chapter, powerful chapter. Is going to what I think I said before, what I touched on before, or no, the brother Chronicles of Judah, he make a beautiful point, like the Most High, once you become his knowledge, come in his walk, it's like you realize, this is the most real powerful God there is ever, because the other nations, the other gods of the other nations, they're like idols. They're like man. They're built by man's hand. They're nothing. Like you could really see somebody build the idol and worship it. So that's what this whole book is about. Oh, shit. That's what this whole book is about. Book of letter of Jeremiah is going to this is going into like how can these people be how can these gods be reverenced as gods when they're nothing? Like when they're like we see it like all these whatever false gods these other nations and or people believe in. So that's just is going to a lot of stuff from from Wisdom of Solomon too, is like kind of touches on the same thing. But this whole book is about that, like all these false gods, and it's going to us going to Babylon when we went into Babylon, and Most High saying, don't follow their ways, don't even worship them, don't fear none of their gods, because their gods can't save you from death. Their gods can't raise up kings and take away kings. Their gods can't do the miracles I do. They're just false gods. They're just idols. They're nothing. So yeah, man, that's this whole book of letter of Jeremiah and the Apocrypha, man. So good book, good book. Beautiful chapter too. But yeah, I want to get verse. I want to get verse 31. And their priests sit in their temples and having their clothes rent and their heads and beards shaven and nothing upon their heads. So yeah, this is going to Babylonians at the time and other nations like and their priests to their whether priests of Baal or whether priests of this false god or that false god. But the reason why I touched on this because it says their heads and their beards shaven. So the Most High wanted us to look a certain way. He didn't want us, or he wants to look like man. He didn't want us to look like these other nations, with no beards and looking, crazy and whatnot. And actually, when it's going to baldness, when it says that, and baldness in the law is going to tonsuring, because that's going to like being a monk or something like that, because that's what other nations were doing. Because if you're going bald, then that's what it is. But the other, like when it says bald and being bald in the law, it's referring to tonsuring. So shout out to once I did a little research on that, shout out to again brother Chronicles of Judah. I remember years ago he mentioned that on, I think, on his videos, or a while back. Yeah, I think you mentioned that, but I want to get back to the point basically. So you see here the other nations, they were had their beard shaved and they looked a certain way, but the Most High wanted us to be set apart and look another way, how we conduct ourselves, all His laws, statutes, and commandments, man. So I'm reading again, and the priests in their temples having their clothes rent, and their heads and beard shaven, and nothing upon their heads. So yeah, man. So that's kind of plain right there. That's the reason why that Most High wanted us to look some way, especially with the beards and other things too, because He wants us to be set apart and whatnot. Be how we conduct ourselves. Follow His law, statutes, and commandments, because that's what He wants, and that's how we are. That's why we are. How we are above all people when we follow His law, statutes, and commandments. But now our people, we constantly transgress. So. But yeah, man, that's just going into the beards and whatnot. So what the brother asked about, because every time I'll see a little account of that, or go into that law, I'll probably cover it. So I want to go into Oxford now. So yeah, man, but that's a beautiful chapter though, because it's like really like going into a beautiful book, because it's going into because it's going to, when we was going into Babylon, due to our transgressions, due to us sinning, due to us walking away from Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. He said, listen, we're going to be in Babylon for a long time, and you got to obey King Nebuchadnezzar, because y'all transgressing me. So, and now when he says, okay, while you're there, don't follow their ways, same things as he always tells us, and don't fear their gods, still keep my laws. So yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful book, beautiful chapter too, because it just goes into like Jeremiah is really saying, like, how can these really be gods, and how can people really reverence these gods, because they're nothing, they're really idols, man. I was going to do this with but our people, man, we just we just hard headed, man. I was talking about that. I was laughing about this with bro a few weeks ago. When I think Exodus 32, when when we just leaving Egypt, Moses, was on the mountain. He was 40 days, 40 nights, by himself. And then when he came back, and our people, we saw Aaron build. We really watched Aaron build a calf, and we start worshiping it. It's like, that's our people, man. It's like. And that's going to kind of what Larry Jeremiah even says. Even though that was about the other nations, Larry Jeremiah, but even still our people, like, we really watch somebody build something and we're worshiping it, and it's like crazy. It's like we really watched Aaron build that calf, and it's like now we're really gonna worship it, man. That's what's so crazy about it, man. That's what kind of I was reminded of when I read that, too. Even though it's letter Jeremiah, it's actually going to other nations and their gods, mainly like the Babylonians during that time period. But yeah, man, it's just wild, man. Our people, man. So at some point, come back to the Most High and the Son and these laws, statutes, and commandments. But yeah, let's get Larry Jeremiah 1 and 31. Okay. Well, okay, 1. Okay, it's in the Oxford. It says Jeremiah 6. Okay. All right. Okay, let's see here. All right. But okay. All right. It says Jeremiah chapter. It says 6 in here. I guess this is different. I guess it's saying it's not saying it reads a little different here. Well, it says 6. I'm guessing in this. I'll show y'all. I'm guessing in here it says 6. I'm guessing there for the Oxford saying this was parts left out of Jeremiah Jeremiah chapter 6. That's what I'm guessing, because I never. This is my first time even looking at the letter of Jeremiah in the Oxford. So yeah. So I just wanted to show y'all. Yeah. Yeah, I guess the reason why. So bear with me. I think it should be still verse 31. Yeah, it is. All right. Jeremiah chapter letter of Jeremiah verse 31. I'll say verse 31 because like I just showed y'all, I said 6, but in the Apocrypha that I read, and it says 1. So it reads, letter Jeremiah chapter 30 verse 31. In the temples are seated the priests, shaven and shorn with their clothes and rent, and their heads uncovered. So yeah, man, it's basically saying the same thing. So yeah, that's it. I'll read it one more time. In the temple are seated the priests, is going to priests of the Babylonians, or priests of other nations, of course, because all these other nations, they have their priests of their false gods, or priests of Baal, or priests of whatever. Well, even though that's what the account of Elijah, even though that was our I forgot what I was gonna say, but all right. In the temples are seated the priests, and shaven and shorn, with their clothes rent and heads uncovered. So yeah, man, that's basically saying the same thing, man. So that's about it. I recommend y'all probably read it before, but just read it again, man, because it's kind of he does use Jeremiah in this one, does use like a lot of even satire, even like really asking questions like this is like the common sense. It's like, bro, how can that be a god when that's like really clear about built by man's hands. These other nations, they really build their gods and really worship him. And even in the chapter he goes, he say even they don't even obey their God. So it's like, how can they be actually like these gods be so powerful? It's like they even subconsciously they even know that their gods are bullshit. So yeah, man, I definitely recommend y'all read letter of Jeremiah again, because definitely really short, but definitely really edifying, man, from the prophet Jeremiah. So yeah, again, that's going into the beards, man. I just wanted to follow up with that, So hopefully this is got some more little edification on that, man. So peace.